What's up, guys? This is Hannah from Fear Paintball, Fear Productions. Just wanted to come to you guys today. This video is going to be more towards my friends over at the TMC Owners Group on Facebook. But if you stumble across this video on our YouTube channel and it addresses some of the questions you may have had for paintball, hopefully it'll help you out. Like I said, this is going to be geared towards them, but it's going to answer some general questions that maybe a newer person coming into the sport might have. To give you a little bit of background, I am by no means an expert in a lot of things. You know, this is one man's opinion. Give you a little bit of my background in paintball. I've been playing since, let's see, we started probably in 2003-ish, that time frame. We formally created Fear Paintball in 2000, it's probably the summer of 2005. So there was a little gap there where we weren't officially a team, but we played all the time. And then we started as an official team in 2005, and we were sponsored by a lot of major companies. We made magazines, you know, we went to the big events. My experience, if you guys go to our YouTube channel, you can see a lot of our videos. Unfortunately, when we first started, YouTube wasn't really a big platform. It wasn't as big as it is now. So we didn't upload a lot of our early videos to YouTube. It was some third-party media website that no longer exists. I tried to go back on there and pull all the videos that I'd made on that website off, but it was gone, and I never kept the original, the raw video of it to re-upload it to YouTube. But we had a bunch of videos, like maintenance videos, game videos, and everything on there. But anyway, we have a lot of extra paintball stuff on our channel. I think we started our YouTube channel in probably 2007, 2008-ish. Anyway, I've been playing for a long time. I've used a lot of gear. I've shot a lot of different styles of paint. I have used a lot of different barrels. I have experienced a lot of stuff in my time. So hopefully I can help not really persuade or push my opinion, but kind of give you guys a better idea of what's going, you know, what's going on on the marker end, and what kind of goes into all of, you know, especially I actually took notes for this video. I rarely take notes for any kind of video because I kind of just wing it most of the time. We'll just go ahead and get into it. The bullet points for this first topic, I see a lot of requests for how do I make my TMC, or any marker really, how do I make it more accurate, how do I get more distance out of it, and how do I make it more precise. I kind of clump those three all together because in reality it's all the same. It's all the same thing. So you have several variables at play here. What you want to look at, yes, you want a good quality barrel. And I have a video that I will link in the description of this video that I did a while back, but I still hold, you know, I still hold my opinion true in that video. I did the top 5. It's one of our Hurt Locker videos, top 5 barrels for paintball. And in that, of course, I go over my opinion of the top 5 paintball barrels. And of course, that was at the time. But again, like I said, it holds true. You want a good barrel, okay? That's a given. But that's only part of it, okay? The next part of that variable is paint. You want good quality paint. Now, though you're saying, hey, this is common knowledge. Why are you telling me this? Well, the barrel and the paint, you want the paint bore to match the barrel. And what I mean by that, some of you new players that are coming into the game here, like, well, what do you mean bore? Well, the most common bore that I've seen in paint is between 688 and .90. Paintballs do have a bore, okay? And this is why a lot of you who have seen me, sorry, the road's right out there if you can hear that. A lot of you have seen me talk on the forum. One of the first things you guys need to buy before you try to do something like this and make your TMC look whatever way you want it to look like, buy yourself a barrel kit that has multiple bore sizes, multiple backs with different bore sizes, so you can match whatever paint that you got at the field that day to that bore size. That's going to give you the accuracy that you want. That's going to match that paint with that barrel and make everything, it will make your life much better, trust me. I heard a tip a long time ago when I first started playing, when you want to match the bore perfectly, put the paintball in the barrel just a little bit and look at the barrel, hold the barrel up to the light. Of course, if the paintball rolls out, it's way smaller, okay? You want at least 3 edges of the paintball touching the inside diameter of the inside circle of the barrel for it to be a good match. That's going to give you the best accuracy and precision, okay? I've used that method all throughout the years of playing, and it has always held true. And as long as I do that, my markers shoot, as straight as you can hope without, getting a random paintball with a dimple in it or something that's going to mess up the shot. Now, barrel length, if I remember correctly, you don't want to get any longer than 12 inches because after that, you're going to be losing velocity. Now, you're saying, well, look at the gun or the marker you just held up. This thing's got a 20-inch barrel. It does. And it's purely aesthetic because I wanted to match it to what an actual, M16 A2, or A1 A2 would look like. It would have this length barrel. And I do suffer because of it. I have to crank my velocity a little higher to get the paint to go where I want it, which means I don't get as much rounds per tank, which means I get less mags because I have a longer barrel. So that's accuracy and precision. What about distance? Let's talk about the Apex barrel. I have a video on the Apex barrel. It's on the channel. I'll link it below. This also applies to the flatline barrel, kind of. Flatline works a little bit different in that you can't dial it, you can't adjust it as much as you can the Apex. Now, I was a big proponent of the Apex when it first came out. I loved the thing. I got out so many people in ways that you shouldn't eliminate a person in paintball with it. It was almost humorous. But don't buy the Apex barrel expecting to get precision, accuracy, and distance all in the same package. That barrel is not even you can mount it on other barrels. I can mount an Apex tip on this flask barrel. Don't buy that barrel with the expectation, or and put the tip on with the expectation that when you crank that Apex tip on is going to give you accuracy and precision. When you start dialing on that Apex, that's going to start rolling back your accuracy. At that point, what you're doing is more so, it's meant for cover fire, or I don't want to say volley fire, but in the trick shots, let me roll back to what I said earlier. The eliminations that you can eliminate someone who's behind a bunker, turning it upside down. Like if they're behind a log and duck behind it, turn it upside down, crank it up, and you'll get the shots. But you're going to be raining them down. Or the distance shots, when you shoot, they're going to be gliding, and once they go out so far, they're just going to do what they want to do. They're going to make it out to the distance that the Apex is advertised to. They will. They'll do it. But they're not going to be anywhere near as accurate. Now, if you really want precision accuracy at distance, get first strike rounds. I really wish one of our team members, Firestorm, was here to talk to you about first strike rounds, because he ran designated marksman for Tiberius, their first strike now, but when they were still Tiberius, he ran designated marksman at, I believe, Living Legends and Fold Gap several years in a row for them specifically, primarily first strikes. And the stories he could tell you would blow your mind. First strike rounds are amazing. If you can mod your TMC, if you're handy with tools and you know what you're doing, you can mod your TMC with first strike rounds, do it. Hopefully they release a version that is first strike compatible, because I'll buy it, because it'll be nice to have. Now, I'll say that the field that I play at doesn't allow first strike for insurance purposes, but the other big fields that we would go to do allow it, so I digress. If you want the trifecta, if you want the best distance, accuracy, and precision, you want to make sure you match barrel and bore of the paint and have good quality paint. Make sure all that's in line. 12 to 14-inch barrel might be pushing it, and you should have very favorable results. Okay, so that's, like I said, that's my opinion from the years that I've played. That's what I've seen. That's what I've encountered. And like I said, I've used a wide variety of barrels. My opinions on the barrels are in that video. You guys have probably used other barrels that you like. It also comes down to user preference. Like, if you have a barrel type that you like and you swear by it, by all means, use it. Like, if that works for you, use it, But that's my general take on the accuracy, distance, precision questions that I see. Hopefully that gives you some insight. So let's move on to the next topic, which I already covered. It was barrel options. Briefly, like I said, I've used, you name it, I have used it over the years. I will tell you that I personally think that carbon fiber barrels are a gimmick. Okay? I have friends and team members that swear by them. I think they're a gimmick. Every carbon fiber barrel that I've shot shoots no better or worse than a normal barrel, even with good paint to bore match. We won't get into that. If you like carbon fiber barrels, go for it. If it works for you, great. The big hitters that I've used in the past, the ones that I use now, flask barrels. Love flask barrels. They are great. Lapco, great barrels. J&J, great barrels. Name is CP. CP made. I haven't used CP barrels in a long time. I know they used to make really, really good barrels. Hopefully they still do. But and Dye used to make really good barrels. I haven't used a Dye barrel in a couple of years, but I remember the Dye Ultralight I used to use all the time before I switched. I started toying around with different barrels, and Dye Ultralight was really good too. They can be kind of pricey though. But let's go down to the next topic I had on here. The air questions I see. I see a lot of new people who join the owners group asking how many shots or how many magazines will I get out of is a 48 3000 tank or X whatever tank, and someone actually posted a great chart that kind of goes over how many rounds you can expect out of a particular tank, and it's actually really, really close to the formula. Now, I've posted on a lot of the questions that I've seen, but if you haven't seen them and you're watching this video and you've made it to this point, the formula for for tanks, and this is a rough estimate because you also have to get into, it gets into the barrel length and what velocity you're shooting at. You take the cubic inch of the tank times 10 for a 3,000 psi tank. So for instance, if you have a 28 CI tank, you 28 CI time or 28 times 10, you're going to get roughly 280 rounds for that tank. And then the for a 4,500 psi tank, it's the cubic inch times 15. So that'll give you a ballpark figure. And that chart that was posted is really, I would say it's within 100. It's within 30 to, we'll give it a broad estimate, within 30 to 100 paintballs ish of a good idea of what you're going to get. So I would check that out. Maybe print it out, keep it in your gear bag, and give you a good idea. If anyone has questions while you're on the field, you can pull it out and reference it. So, and another big one I've seen, it's the last bullet point that I have on here, is ball chops. Now, the only problem that I've had with mine last year was the last game of the year, okay? And that was because it was about 15 degrees when we started playing. And the field that we play at had two types of paint. And they had marbleizers, which typically is not a bad thing. I like marbleizers. I've always liked marbleizers. But they didn't like the cold weather. Very thin shelled paint. Not good for cold weather. Especially in a Tippmann. They fared pretty well. They fared okay in some of the speedball markers, but in any kind of marker like this, it wasn't good. I can't remember the other type of field grade paint. It was some kind of Alpine paint. Anyway, it had a harder shell and it worked a lot better. But that was the only game I played. I played 2 games with this out of the 3 games last year because I got this before the second game. And the second game, I had no problems at all. Third game, when I got the marbs, I had ball chops left and right, and I blamed that on the weather. That wasn't a marker problem at all. But to go back to the random ones that I've seen, weather aside, excuse me, weather problems aside, one of the big things you got to realize and pay attention to. Make sure, and this also goes for double feeds in the mag. I've had a couple times this has happened to me, and it's because I have kind of a modified setup here, and I'll show you. Where your ball detent plate goes in, check that after every game, during the game if you think about it. Make sure that is on there tight enough, because if it loosens up any at all, that detent's going to pull away a little bit, which means it's not going to hold the rounds in the way it should. So you're going to either encounter a double feed, or you're going to get extra paint in the barrel and it's going to shoot out 2 or 3 rounds at the same time, or it's going to chop around and then put another round. You're going to have some problems. And that actually did occur to me the 3rd game last year. So of course you see mine, I have a little rubber nubbin right there, but it's just a screw, or it's just this normal screw. I have a washer and a nut holding it in there because I have this carry handle on here. So I had to take the bigger bolt off of here that was on there in order to accommodate the carry handle. But I got to make sure I crank that down all the time, because this it has a tendency to come loose, and that'll cause you a lot of problems. Now, as for other issues with the marker, it has a lot in common with a 98 custom. 98s are what I started playing with. There's not, unless there's something that goes on the inside, there's not too much wrong that can that can go wrong with these markers. Make sure here's another tip. Make sure if you get a tank, it's got a high pressure regulator, because if you don't get a high pressure regulator, which most of them have, and they'll advertise it otherwise, but if you get a low pressure regulator and you try to put it on one of these, it's not going to work. And that's pretty much common knowledge, but I got into an issue the last game where the tank that I got popped a burst disc, and I took it to the pro shop. They were repairing it. My buddy of mine gave me another tank of his. Well, unbeknownst to me, it was a low pressure tank. So I go and get it filled, go down to the chrono to set my velocity. I can't get this thing above 180. In fact, it starts to dip the more I make adjustments to it. And of course, you got to understand this: the game's already going on. It's in the middle of the second mission, so I've already missed almost an hour's worth of play. I'm mad. My gun's got Paintball in it. Now I can't get it chrono. It finally light bulb. High pressure regulator. Keep that in mind. So I think that's everything that I can think of some of the common questions that I see pop up on a regular basis. I hope this helps you guys out. And like I said, it's one man's opinion. I'm just telling you some of the things that I've encountered over my years of playing that that hopefully will impart some knowledge to either help you out now, or if in the future you remember, oh hey, he said this, and try it out and it works. But I want to stress one other, what I said before. Before you start tacking a bunch of other goodies onto your marker, I know it's fun and you want it to look the way you want it to look. Make sure you get a good barrel kit, please, because that will make your life so much simpler. Trust me. Yes, they're expensive. You're probably going to look at in the neighborhood, depending on which brand and how many bore sizes you get and lengths and everything, anywhere from probably $100 to $250. It's an investment, but it's worth it, okay? Because later on down the line, you'll be able to match things up as you go along, and you'll understand later on that, oh, I see what he was talking about now. Yes, you can go generalities, and usually if you stick to a single barrel with typically 6.88, 6.89, or 6.90, you'll be okay. You might get into a situation in winter where paint swells really big. That's where the 690 will come into play, or in the summer where I got that backwards. The heat will make it swell, the cold will make it shrink. So keep that in mind. That's another case where I had to take this apart and put a smaller bore size in it for that winter game because the paint shrunk. Normally that paint, I think, sized at, I've shot it before, that fill grade paint sized at like 6.89. It had shrank down to 6.86 or 6.87, and I had a bore size for it, swapped it out, it was perfect. So things you gotta prepare for, it's just like I said, one man's opinion, but hopefully it helps you guys out. I know this is a rather long video. I got 25 minutes of me rambling, but just wanted to do this to help you guys out, and hopefully, and I'll reference this video, if I see these questions pop up, and hopefully it will help. If you guys see questions pop up and you think this video will help, please feel free to share it. You have my permission to do so. If you see other videos on the channel here, I have a ton of videos on this guy. I see a lot of people when I post pictures of it, they're interested in it. They ask me how I did it. You know, what did I have to do? I do have a video of how I did this on the channel. So there's also gameplay, you know, helmet camera videos of me using this. And there's a bunch of other stuff we have on the channel. If you like firearms, there's a whole other portion of the channel that I have dedicated to our firearms videos. So we got firearms and paintball on the same channel. If you don't want to watch the firearm stuff, that's great. There's a ton of other paintball stuff on there. So if you guys do have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I'm much more eloquent when when I'm not behind a camera. I can formulate my thoughts a little bit better and type it out to you. Direct message me on Facebook, or when I post this video, you know, can ask a question on the, you know, reply to it. If you see this on YouTube and you just come across it, please place a comment in the video. I'll be more than happy to respond. Please be respectful, and I will get to you as soon as I can. I'm always, you know, trying to pay attention to my comment section and replies on Facebook, and always browsing the TMC owners group just to be able to see if I can help you guys out and do what I can. So again, this is Enhander from Fear Paintball and Fear Productions. Hope you guys have a good year of paintball. You'll be seeing more videos from us if you subscribe to the channel. Like our videos, and God bless. Have a great day.